Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachak, Kodash. Double honors to the apostle elders of Great Millstone. Peace and blessings to the hopeful elect. The names that you just heard me say there are the true names of the Heavenly Father and His Son, which the true name of the Heavenly Father in the ancient Hebrew is Yahweh. That is the name of the Heavenly Father. And the true name of the Son of the Heavenly Father, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, in the ancient Hebrew, his name is Yahweh Shai, right? And I was watching this video from this channel called A Homestead Journey, and Spirit was hot on me to do it, so I had to finish up and rush what I was doing to want to come and do a lesson on this guy. I couldn't forbear to hold it back, because as brothers will sometimes say, prophecy is, popping like popcorn. Scriptures are jumping off the pages. And if this is not an example, now I'm probably going to go to about 15, 17 minutes within this video. But if this isn't Luke 21 and verse 25 speaking, I don't know what is. I'm going to play it and just listen to people lament about how they're feeling here in America. Again, if this is not Luke 21, chapter 21, verse 25, I don't know what is. All right. Now, I do want to say fair use for me using this video. I don't get any monetary means, but I also put the copyright disclaimer also in the description box, as well as I will say this as well. A lot of women are getting into this type of mindset that she is in, being more reserved with buying stuff, because as we know, the typical American black woman living here in America likes to spend their money on a lot of frugal things that don't add unto them, things that don't make any sense. There's nothing wrong with spending on yourself. You should treat yourself, of course, but be mature. We're all adults here, right? Women will talk about how they're adults, they're grown women, they're independent. Well, act like it. Don't just talk about it, be it. And I just want to say that, because sometimes, especially maybe me, myself, can get about women. I will say that she seems to be the type of woman that is workable with, right? Not saying that, looking at this woman in any type of particular way, but just saying that she seems to be a woman that is reasonable, workable with. A lot of women don't have the type of mindset that she has, because a lot of black women want to spend money, take vacations, take trips here and there, pretty much act as if they're rich, like they just have all the money in the world. So not a lot of women have this type of mindset to be like, you know what, let's cut back, let's cut down, that are workable with, right? That a man that he has vision can see that things aren't the same. Not a lot of women have this type of mindset. So I'll say this, all right? I just want to say that as well. So, matter of fact, let me get first Habakkuk. I got to remember this here as well in Isaiah 2. Lord's I remember that. But let's get Habakkuk, 2, right? Because like I was saying, if this is not it speaking, then I don't know what is. Now this is, let's just go right to the point. This is Habakkuk chapter 2 and verse 3. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry. And I want to focus on that part where it says, but at the end it shall speak. Now, when I play the video, you're going to see, and beginning with the elders and apostles of Great Millstone and their elders before them, have not the prophets always spoke about what? End times, things getting harder here in America, inflation, right? There's also shrinkflation as well in this video as well, that I even experienced shrinkflation at one point. Have we not talked about things getting harder, things getting worse here in America? And at this point, it's speaking. And how is it speaking? Through the things that people are going through. So again, the vision is yet for an appointed time, meaning that the Heavenly Father has this appointed time when it's going to happen, right? Think of like you making a doctor's appointment, right? There is an appointed day and time when you're supposed to come in. The same thing with prophecy. But at the end, it shall speak. So very soon, or as we're living in now, prophecy is going to be speaking. And how is it going to be speaking? These people are going to do it for us. let's get into the video.
You know, it's really bad when entire generations like Gen Z and millennials are just basically throwing up their hands and saying, what's even the point?
This is what I'm struggling with in America right now in my 20s. Why is everything so expensive? Why am I making more money waitressing than I would make using my college degree? I barely have a life. I have 2 days off and I work Wednesday to Sunday, doubling just to pay my bills. At 22 years old, all of my bills are in my name. I have no help. How are y'all affording housing? In Myrtle Beach, a 1-bedroom apartment is $1,500. How are y'all getting insurance, going to the doctor, getting medicine? And then some of us are trying to be TikTok influencers. Who knows where that's going to get me? Me and my boyfriend are saving, but we barely see each other during the week, and it feels like we're working our off for nothing. Do we need to move somewhere for a better job opportunity that we don't know about? Do any of y'all really know what you want to do with your life right now? It is so scary being in America right now.
What am I doing wrong? I work every day and I'm still broke. Like, I have a decent job, I make some decent money, but I live out here in Cali. Like, bro, as soon as I get paid, I have all these bills stacked up, bro, that shit wipes me clean. Like, fuck, I got no money left over. Making $100,000 a year doesn't get you anywhere nowadays.
Hi guys, I'm really stressed today. I just went to the grocery store, bought 10 items, and it was $80 freaking already. I literally have $10 left on my account. So a little backstory. I got laid off from my job a month ago. And I've been applying for jobs months before I got laid off. Sent out hundreds of resumes already. Applied to hundreds of jobs on the internet, remote and on-site. Tailored my resume to every position that I applied using ChatGPT. Went to only a few interviews. And still nothing. Like, what the f*** is going on with America right now? Like, it's so freaking hard to live here. Like, I'm gonna stay positive. I'm gonna keep applying for jobs. I'm gonna keep showing up. But man, my bills are not going to wait.
Y'all, I just went today and got my driver's license renewed, my car tags renewed, picked up 2 prescriptions, and got a few groceries. To say that I'm completely broke now is an understatement. So I'm going to have to go home and start selling off my furniture to be able to live the rest of the month. I mean, that's just, it's unbelievable. And my heart hurts today. Truly hurts for people who are not able. And we're living in some rough times, really rough times. And we need to be praying for all those around us who are not as fortunate as we are to be able to do the things that we need to do. I'm not talking about extras. I'm not talking about going on vacation and doing fun things. I'm talking about living, taking care of your vehicle if you can even afford a vehicle, putting groceries on the table, buying medicine, the things you have to do. It's sad. It's very sad.
Yeah, it's a really sad thing here, you know.
See, and the things that people are trying to escape from, the things that people are trying not to pay attention as far as the tariffs, the things that are affecting the world worldwide, people were running away from those things. People were trying to escape from them, right? They didn't want to pay no attention, nor did they ever think that these things would affect them. But now they're being affected by them. Now they're feeling the squeeze. Now they're feeling it. Now they're lamenting. Now they're talking about it. Now they're going on, whether it be YouTube, whether it be TikTok. And you hear this older woman now saying that, hey, we got to spend money on things that actually matter. Like I mentioned a little earlier, this woman, right, her channel's name is A Homestead Journey. She talks about, pretty much, buying the essential stuff, right? And like I was saying earlier, that a lot of, or typical American black woman does not have that type of mindset to want to, hey, let me stop spending so much. Because the mindset is to spend. Because why? Social media still has an effect on the minds of women where they have all this, they want to show where they're going here. They're taking vacations. They're taking trips here and there, right? You had not so long ago, I think it was about maybe 2 weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago, that chick B. Simone complaining about how she can't buy certain things at certain places anymore because the money's not flowing anymore. See, women like to spend their money frivolously. They just want to spend it without care. But now things are happening that you're having to now think about when you go to the grocery store. See, typically women, when they go buy stuff, they just want to buy stuff without thinking. But now you're being forced to think about, yo, should I really buy this? Is this necessary? Do I really need this? Hey, even vacation trips, you may be feeling hammered at the job, struggling, right? You need to just get away, but can I really get away? Can I really afford to get away? Because like, if I really spend that money, can I really afford to do that? Can I really afford to take a vacation right now? Because yeah, it'll do me good as far as mentally, but them bills ain't waiting. Like the previous woman, what'd she say? Her bills ain't waiting. So it's like, hey ladies, can you really afford to take that vacation? Are your bills gonna wait? You know, oh, don't worry. You know, you take that vacation. You take a week or 2 weeks vacation. Don't worry. I'll hold off until you're ready to, deal with me. Is it really going to wait? See, these are things you got to weigh now. These are things that have to be talked about now. See? And I think the next woman that's coming up ahead, she's going to get into. So let me hold this on the back line. Luke 21 and 25. There's one woman in particular after she speaks that I want to. So let's continue.
Yeah, it's a really sad thing here. We have a generation that is right now trying to survive in the U.S., and they're doing it at a time that it is so difficult with the rising costs. I really do feel for the younger generation and even for the older generation. I mean, you're hearing the stories here that it's just so difficult right now. You go and do a few things and it's like your bank account is empty. And that is the reality. Money goes by so quickly. And the reason why is because primarily, in my opinion, wages have not kept up here in the US. That's a fact. And also the cost of everything has gone up so dramatically that right now it's just not lining up. It's really, really, really difficult to make ends meet. And you do have to start learning to do with less. Take out the luxuries in life. Take out the unnecessary vacations, the unnecessary...
See, and just like I was mentioning, see the unnecessary vacations. But women don't like to do that. They want to go here. They want to go there. Remember, people are in the mindset of things are going to continue here in America. Nothing bad is going to happen. It's going to continue. So let me go take that vacay. Let me go take that vacay, right? Nothing bad is going to happen. Right? I don't have to sit there and think about my expenses. Why? Because before, people here in America never really had to think about their expenses like that. But now, as things are getting worse and worse, people have to think about their expenses.
Spending, take out the wants, and really just focus on the needs. And even just by getting the needs, purchasing the needs, taking care of your needs, even that really starts to draw people broke. And I'm seeing more and more that people are having a harder time to cope with this because it's getting too stressful. And even though this has been going on for years now, and if the pot continues to boil, I really believe things are just going to get a lot worse because people are already living on the edge, and you already can not afford something extra to happen or something extra to come up without just kind of going in the hole. So that's why I've been a proponent of just living as minimally as possible for years now, being as debt-free as possible and living frugally, because look at where we are today. Look at what's going on in the world.
Bro, the cost of living is insane right now. Like, what are we doing? I swear before COVID, in my area, $20 an hour was like, you balling, you good. Now, people that making $20 an hour, I'm like, man, how are they surviving? Like, this is insane. Fast food places are paying $20 an hour now. So $20 an hour is the new $10 an hour. Obviously, all of this is relative to where you live. So my $20 an hour, where I live in Northern Virginia, may be your $16 an hour, or maybe your $30 an hour. It all really depends on where you live. Like, I can't be the only one that sees this stuff. Like, I can't be the only one that understands what's going on. And it honestly worries me that there's some people out there that make less than that. Like, think about the people out there that's making minimum wage. Like, probably have to work 2 or 3 jobs just to make up for, a livable income. It's insane.
I'm just mad. I'm just mad anymore. There's no reason for me to be like, yay, America, like, we're so great, we're so free, we're so powerful. I'm starving. I have to go without so that my kid can maybe have Pop-Tarts once a month. It shouldn't be that way. We shouldn't have to go like, let's see, we haven't had meat in a long time, because guess what? We can't afford it, okay? But yet we're the ones working every day to make this country go round and round. But we're not worth being able to have decent food or the amount of food that we need to have one of our families.
All right, so let me pause right there. So I believe she's the woman that I was mentioning about, that you heard her say what? She has to go without so that way her kid could have Pop-Tarts about once a month, right? She's not able, or they're not able or worth to get decent enough food, but she's used the word to be without, right? Now this is Luke chapter 21 and verse 25. And there shall be signs in the sun and in the moon and in the stars, and upon the earth distress of nations, with perplexity the sea and the waves roaring. Now when you go into that word perplexity, it is aporia. Says to be without resources, to be in straits, to be left wanting, to be embarrassed, to be in doubt, not to know which way to turn, to be at a loss with oneself, to be in doubt. You're seeing these videos, and especially women, because women are especially crashing out because what? They don't know what to do. They're at a loss with themselves. What do I do? I'm working, but I'm not seeing the increase. I'm getting a higher paying job, but why am I not seeing more money in my pocket? Why am I not seeing my spending habits or whatever go down? They don't know what to do. They're being without resources, not only money, monetary, but food as well. To be in straits, which is difficulties. People are in difficulties now. People are in positions, and you're going to see more so women, right, in this video, of what? In straits, in difficulties, having to work 2 to 3 jobs, and yet you're still, it almost seems like you're just, because I remember the brother Shamia sent me like a video on Instagram that was funny about how this dude, he was at work and he left work, and then the minute he got home, he opened the door and he was back at work again. And I believe the caption was something along the lines of, you're just visiting your house. And think about it, that's essentially what it is. Because some people work either 5 days a week or sometimes work from no breaks at all, right? You had that one woman, I think her name was Quita Cole, if I'm not mistaken. I apologize if I'm saying her name incorrectly, but she was working every day for, I believe, about maybe close to a month. And she said she needed to take some days off, and she went to sleep, literally sleep, right? Which sleep is synonymous with death, and she didn't wake back up. That's how tired she was from just overworking herself. Her spirit was like, I got to clock out. Right? So people are in straits. People are working, whether it be 5 days a week or just back to back nonstop. And they're just visiting home. You're just visiting home for maybe 5 hours, and then you're back on the clock again to deal with the stress of your job, or even the people at your job could be stressing you out. So it's just stress. And no breaks. And then what? To be without resources. Everything that you're making, you're giving it right away, because what? The bills, the rent, the electricity. If you have kids, you got to spend money on them. And it's natural for people to want to spend money on themselves, right? Because, hey, you may want a little something that you've had your eye on for some time. But you can't do that. You got to be super responsible, right? You got to put out the wants and put for the needs. But hey, even the needs is costing a lot now. So people are in doubt. It's like, what the hell do I do? People are now doubting, is it even worth me getting this high paying job? The one individual, right? He was like, the $20 is the new $10 now. $20 is not even enough. Some even $30 or $40 is not enough. So it's like, how much money do you need to make to be at peace? See? And that is Luke chapter 21 and verse 25 speaking, right? As I mentioned, at the end it shall speak. And hey, it's speaking through these people because these people are doing it for us. They're feeling the effects now. They're having to pay attention to prophecy. They're at a loss with themselves. They don't know what to do. Going back to this woman, listen to what she was saying. She's at a loss with herself. What does she do? Where can I go? She's saying things without saying things. You have to read between the lines. She's saying, what do I do? Where do I go? Who can help me? What help is there out there for me? What do I do?
Family members go without. We haven't had meat, and yay, America! Like, we're so great, we're so free, we're so powerful. I'm starving. I have to go without so that my kid can maybe have Pop-Tarts once a month. It shouldn't be that way. We shouldn't have to go let's see, we haven't had meat in a long time, because guess what? We can't afford it, okay? But yet we're the ones working every day to make this country go round and round. But we're not worth being able to have decent food, or the amount of food that we need to have one of our family members go without. I'm done. I'm so done.
See, she's done. She's at a loss with herself. A crash out society is coming. Imagine if right now people are done like she's saying. What happens when all hell breaks loose? These people don't have morals. They're not going to care. So when all hell breaks loose, when it's time to, knock on somebody's door, as is written of in Second Ezra chapter 15, for the lack of bread and great tribulation, these people are going to crash out. All these terms that you hear in society on social media, crashing out, I'm on demon time, those spirits are going to raise up during the time of Jacob's trouble. I'm going to crash out. Yeah, I'm on demon time. Yeah, them demons going to be activated. And these people are going to do what they need to do, because what? It's either eat or be eaten. It's either you or me. And hey, right now, as society is still somewhat normal, right? They don't act upon those wicked instincts, if you will. But when all hell breaks loose, these people are going to act upon those instincts. They're going to be on that demon time. They're going to crash out. Because what else do I do? They're going to be like a cornered animal, a cornered dog. And hey, when you're cornered, the animal goes feral. So that's how people are going to act. Because I haven't eaten in a couple of days. My kid hasn't eaten. I'm too stressed out. So that cornered animal is now going to go feral. And now I'm going to do whatever I have to do to feed myself and my kids. It's either you or me, and I'm choosing me. But for the elect, they don't have to worry about that. The elect have Yahweh Ba'Shem Al Shai, and food provision is already provided.
It shouldn't be this way. And I know that it's not just this way for me.
Living in America is freaking ridiculous right now. 2 to 3 grand on average. You need to make 2 to 3 times that. $9,000 a month. How many people with regular bachelor degrees are even making that? No one. Not a lot of people.
And I will say, since you just mentioned that you have a lot of women that are turning men down because they have to have they have these standards where they have to make this type of money. Well, a lot of you women, men are seeing that, and men are feeling the effects of society as well, right? They're feeling the effects of that as well. So if you're coming with all these high standards about having to make this amount of money, amount of this and that, but hey, not a lot of people have that, well, you're just going to be living single by yourself and struggling. So you women are making it even harder on yourselves instead of trying to be reasonable, like this woman here that you see on the left, who's the owner of this channel, A Homestead Journey. Instead of trying to be reasonable women, be like, you know what, I understand it's hard for you, it's hard for me, I'm feeling the effects. You know what, let's, being reasonable, nah. You got to make all this money to keep up with my cost of living because I want to go here, I want to go there. I want to be seen here, I want to be seen everywhere. So now the men are just gonna check out and be like, well, you can suffer on your own. You want to take those vacations? All right, take them by yourself.
No one wants to live with roommates. That's not the answer. Everybody deserves a safe and clean space. There's no reason why so many people should be roommating, or you can't even buy yourself your own house. This is horrible.
And I completely agree. $20 an hour used to really feel like it went far, but recently it's not the same anymore. $20 an hour still sounds good, but then when you look at the cost of everything, that it doesn't really do much anymore. You need to have more money coming in. You need to have the extra income, whether there's someone else bringing in income, or you need to have a side hustle, another job. But it just really goes to show you that if you're not already looking at ways to downsize, ways to be more frugal, then I think it's just going to, potentially hurt you in the long run, because prices are only going up. And yeah, hopefully there's going to be change in the country coming up, but in the meantime, you can immediately control what you're spending. And, so I really recommend that people start to work on that if you haven't already, because it's getting tough out there. It's getting tough, and we have to make those tough decisions and choose to sacrifice a little bit more and have a little bit more financial preparedness.
Now, I will say again, and this may sound like I'm picking on women, but not, is that a lot of women are not in that type of mindset to want to turn down, right? Not wanting to, again, take those vacations, take those trips, right? Not spend a whole bunch of money. Why? Because people here in America, especially women, because this society here in America caters to you women, right? That a lot of people, especially women, don't want to have to think about not buying this, not doing this and that, right? Having to be financially responsible. So that's going to be a hard thing. Why? Because here in America, you've always lived with excess amount of food, excess amount of access to this, excess amount of this and that. But the excess amount of this and that is being chopped down. Even for you women that have access, excuse me, that's the real word I want to use, access to this and that. As far as men, you can talk to so many men. Hey, that's being cut off. The MGTOW movement, men are not really checking for women anymore. So your access to men, because even men are a resource for women, your access to a whole bunch of men is being cut off. Because maybe one day the simp, he's no longer a simp anymore. He's now clocking out. He's now his mind is now working. So now he's like, you know what? I ain't dealing with this chick no more. I ain't dealing with women no more. So now you've just lost access to something. Right? Maybe you had a guy that pays your bills. He buys you this or that. Hey, maybe he realized his worth. Now he's clocked out. Now he's no longer dealing with you. You ringing his phone, ringing his number. He's not picking up, or he's blocked you. He's checked out. You lost access. You're without that resource now, because women use men as a resource. Right? People are not used to that, especially women here in America. They're used to having access to a whole bunch of stuff, but access to a whole bunch of stuff is now being limited.
You all enjoy your weekends when you're broke. Am I the only one saying this? But you ever work all week and you realize you ain't got no money, and then the weekend rolls around and you think to yourself, I can't enjoy it because I got no money to do nothing. I remember in the summertime, one time I was getting ready to go get gas to mow my lawn, and I realized I was broke and had to take money off my overdraft, my checking account, just to buy fuel for my lawnmower. But I'm I just want to be able to enjoy my weekend and feel like I got a few extra dollars, or when I'm mowing my lawn, I want to take pride in that. But I can't explain the feeling that you get when you're broke on a weekend. You just almost feel guilty for enjoying yourself.
I don't want to trigger anyone by talking about this, but how much money are we spending on groceries a month? I just went over our budget for last month, and our family of 4 spent $1,200 on groceries. And yes, that does include household items like toilet paper, paper towels, household items, but $1,200. We're not eating all organic. We're not eating anything out of the ordinary. Just a normal American diet. When did this happen?
How are we doing? Went to the grocery store. Let me show you what I got. It was just a quick run. Trash bags, a few command strips, only 2 pre-made food things,
and 2 little Easter basket type things that I'm gonna put in. Little magnets. That's it. That's all I got. $121.
I'm gonna show you why mass looting is gonna start soon. Dude, $12.44. Patties? Come on. Bro, $12.28 for some taquitos. Can't even afford eggs. Bro, $9.92 for a frozen pizza. The same price as the Uno's one, bro. Bro, frozen fish nugget bites, $6.62.
Okay, so mass looting. This is something that we all have seen on the news, and this person is making a joke about it, but it's also kind of hinting that, hey, the way that prices are going, it's almost to be expected that something like this could happen. Like, let's not be surprised. And I didn't even think about that until I saw this video, and I thought, oh, wow, okay. So can this be something that does happen? What do you think? This is when you have to go back to your basic rice and beans and bananas and carrots and just a few things like that, not getting anything that's prepackaged, not buying all of the more of the luxury items, but just items that you know are the basic necessities for you and your family. And this is also why I am such a proponent of buying things in advance, stocking up on food, being prepared for times like this, because the only way to really combat inflation is to buy things in advance, to change up what you...
And since he said that, this is 2 Ezra chapter 6, verse 22. And suddenly shall the sown places, which are your grocery stores, appear unsown, right? So right now, there's access to food, but very soon, like he was mentioning, mass looting. So if you're going to have people mass looting these places, right? Eventually, those sown places that had a whole bunch of food are going to be unsown. The full storehouses shall suddenly be found empty. Why? Because like he mentioned, because of mass looting. Because eventually people are not going to have enough money to buy for these things. And that mindset, all it takes is one person or one place for this to happen, to where people mass loot a place and then people are going to follow suit, right? I believe the terminology is catching fire. All it takes is for one area, one state, one place to do this, and all the other states are going to follow suit as well. So, like he was mentioning, mass looting, that could lead to what we're reading here in 2 Ezra 6, where the sown places, right, are eventually going to appear unsown. The full storehouses shall suddenly be found empty. Verse 24, at that time shall friends fight one against another like enemies. Because, hey, your friend may come into your home and see, hey, you have a whole bunch of food here. And, hey, he's without. He's left wanting. So, hey, eventually friends are going to be fighting one against another like enemies. What? They're going to take food from one another. Because of what? Because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. 2 Ezra, the 15th chapter. Since I mentioned that, let's just go to that real quick. Second Ezra chapter 15 and verse 19, a man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation, lack of food. Doesn't mean that there isn't no food. It's just what? There's a lack of access to food, whether that be in the storehouses, which is their grocery stores, or whether in your own home. There is a lack of food. So now I have to go knocking on somebody else's door, whether that be a friend or a neighbor that you've seen all your life. Hey, neighbor, this is my favorite neighbor. Hey, now they're going to come knocking on your door, and they're not going to be so neighborly.
Or buying, to start to grow your own food, to find local sources of basic food items like your farmers, whatever they're producing, things like that, because it's getting very, very difficult to survive and be able to feed your family in the same way that you are used to. You just almost can't do it anymore.
This bag, look, hold on, this bag only has, see, that's the air right here. Stay with me, people. from here down, $6.49.
Well, it's $6.29.
Okay, well,
20.
Now, I will say I experienced, that's what he's experiencing right there and talking about is something called shrinkflation, where the cost of a product rises, but you're not getting a lot of the product in it, right? So let me explain my story. That essentially one time I bought, same thing, a bag of chips. It wasn't Doritos, but I bought a bag of chips, and usually I don't buy chips, but it's been a while since I actually taste these chips. And when I taste them, pretty much the demons was activating. It was like, nigga, buy the chips. So I bought the chips, but when I opened the bag, it barely had anything. It was primarily air. Even to the point when I opened the bag, it was like air just puffed in my face. And I look inside and I see barely anything in there. So you're buying something, a bag of chips or whatever it may be, that may come close to $6, $7, right? Because that's practically $7 for pretty much a bag of air. So pretty much you got to break a $10 bill for a bag of air. Think about that.
Ever. I mean, $6 for this.
Groceries are absolutely ridiculous.
Look, I got to get a wire transfer from Wells Fargo just to buy a pack of chips.
These grocery prices in rural Washington.
And think about that. All that adds up because I don't know about you, but I don't think the typical American or people usually buy just one dozen of eggs. Usually you'll buy two. So think about it. We just saw eggs there for 19 something. That's $20. The typical person will usually buy 2 dozens, right? Right. So that's, a dozen is 12. So that's 24. So 2 cartons of eggs. That's $40 right there. You saw cheese, right? It was pretty much $10. That's $50. So think about that. 3 items that you just bought, right? 2 dozen of eggs, right? And some cheese is pretty much half, right? $50, right? And the change, that'll come up to like 50 and some change. 3 items already in your cart already come up to half of $100 bill. Think about that. 3 items alone. So imagine if you buy something else. You're going to get probably 6 items and that already comes up to $100. This is America. And most of these things, as you're seeing there, is close to $10. So again, you buying some of these because you may buy some hair product. Hey, I need some shampoo. You practically spending $10 for shampoo. This all adds up. Those 2 cartons of eggs, those 2 dozen of egg cartons, those both was $20. That's $40. So a block of cheese, that's another $10. That's $50. You want to get you some shampoo we just saw? That's plus $10. That's 20, 50. That's $60. You want to buy you some tuna? I think we just saw some tuna, almost 10. That's 5 items. That's going 60, 70. You think that little bit of tuna is enough for you for the week? You think them eggs going to last as well? Think that cheese going to last as well either? Before going rotten? Because, hey, a lot of these foods, right, is going bad as well.
Have y'all seen the news today? Because from what I'm seeing, it looks like we all need to be having a garden now. Because if things are about to be as bad as they're looking with these tariffs and everything else, like, bro, grocery prices they're already high as heck, but they really about to be high now. So if you don't have a garden, honey, you need to start one. And I don't want to hear nothing about having a green thumb. I don't want to hear none of that. It's all about reading, learning, and trial and error. So just start it now and thank me later.
I definitely second that.
And what words can I find to explain that? But that That is shocking, for the lack of words, to hear a black woman say that. But beginning with the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, I'm very sure at one point or another, our brothers have explained that, hey, back in the ancient world, we would have vineyards. We would have our own land to grow our own crops and things like that. And hey, what are you hearing now? The sentiment is, hey, you may have to start your own vineyard, your own garden, because it's getting too costly to go to the grocery store to buy food. But that is what we had back in the day. So prophecy is causing people to go back to the ancient ways. See, hey, all the ancient ways, as far as, a man having his own land, a man having multiple women, hey, all the ancient ways are coming back. Prophecy is forcing the ancient ways to come back. The Lord is causing the ancient way to come back through prophecy. At one point, I'm very sure, beginning with the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, I'm very sure they brought up things like that. And hey, that back in the ancient world, men would have their own vineyard. They would have their own garden. And people probably scoffed at and like, man, I'll just go to the grocery store. It's easier. It's convenient, right? But now you're having to talk about, hey, you might have to have your own garden now because you can't trust the food that you're getting. But hey, we've always warned you people that, hey, the food that you're eating is poison. Even the best of the worst is still poison. Now all of a sudden you want to make your own vineyard?
If you don't think now is a good time to start a garden, you really need to think again. This is something that people have been doing for generations, and it's only within the past 2 generations that we have stopped being so connected with the land, having the ability and the knowledge to be able to produce our own food. We go to the grocery store for everything nowadays, and realistically, the more we can start to learn about gardening, about different traditional skills, if you haven't started already, you're just going to be doing yourself a favor, and I highly recommend that you get started with that. But to see where we are today, it's just crazy. And I just think, where do we go from here? What happens in another 6 months? What about fast forward 1 year? People literally, I don't know how everyone's going to be affording groceries. And I think people are starting to really realize the hit to their pocketbooks. And it's at the point that people are getting upset and they're being startled by the prices, but it's not at the point yet where people are really starting to freak out and some things are maybe starting to happen.
Who are these people that are affording groceries, going to the grocery store every week, spending
Okay, I'm going to fast forward. I just want to reach to this one Jake.
$300, $400. Let's sell children. Just into Market Path, sausage, berries, $5.
You can watch this video on your own
More
if
and
you
more
want to
people
go
are
through all of
becoming
them. But I want
homeless.
to get, there we go.
Are becoming homeless, and a lot of people are even finding more creative ways to try and keep a roof over their head. Some people are even looking at storage units. Check this out.
Been living in my car. Now I'm living in a storage unit. Trying to get an apartment, but can't right now. I'm at the storage unit finna get me a storage today. I'm feeling mighty proud of myself today, you can see the building right here. I ain't gonna really show everything, but yeah. I'm looking for the smallest storage unit. How much is the smallest? Just got the storage unit. I can put my... Thought I would have a bigger one, but I think I can put my bed right here or whatever. Man.
Look at that. You have to live in a storage unit that costs $150 instead of an apartment. Now listen. Ain't nobody want to live like that. You got to psych yourself out to live like that. You may sit there and say, yeah, hey, it's more affordable. You may try to come up with everything that you got to do. But listen, let's just be honest. Ain't nobody want to live in no storage unit, some small-ass place, especially this guy. He's a big guy. You got to squeeze yourself in this small-ass little place. Ain't nobody want to live in no small place like that in a storage unit. Now, yeah, you got to do what you got to do. I understand that. But look, you're being humbled. People are being humbled by the Heavenly Father. But to them, it's just life. But nah, as I have here, and we'll end it off here with this precept, unless the Spirit gives me something else. But this is Isaiah chapter 2 and verse 11, right? The lofty looks of man shall be humbled, and the haughtiness of men shall be bowed down, and the Lord alone shall be exalted in that day. And what? The Lord is bringing down the haughtiness, which is pride, the proud looks of people. People at one point thought that they were good, right? That they were, everything was going to be good here. But look at yourself. You have to now live in a storage unit. Ain't nobody want to live like that. Nobody want to live like that. You got to psych yourself in the mind to be like, this is okay. It's all right. Nobody wants to live like that at all. You want to have your nice little apartment. Not saying it has to be expensive, but you want to have your nice little apartment, your space to yourself, right? Your comfortability. You don't want to be in no small area like that, especially for a big guy like this. And you're exposed as well. People could, probably rob you or do something to you as well. Nobody wants to live like that. But hey, the Lord is bringing down the high looks, the pride of people. He was saying he's proud of himself. Listen, like I was saying, you got to psych yourself out. Even in sports, they do that. You got to psych yourself out, tell yourself certain things to get yourself in a zone. You got to put yourself in a zone to be okay with that. And people, especially our people, are not okay with it. Imagine you try to tell a black woman, hey, we got to live in a storage unit. It's you and her doing that now. You think she going to want to do that? You think that that's okay? Like I was saying, you got to psych yourself out, put yourself in the zone to be okay with this. But really, especially our people, you don't want to be like that. Especially someone may see you or something like that. And you live in a storage unit? You living like that? Oh my God, people going to feel embarrassed. The pride of people is being brought low. And Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushua, him alone, will be exalted in that day. And that's talking about the destruction. But hey, we're exalting the name of the Heavenly Father even now. What? Saying that, hey, you people, you're going through these things. Hey, we're exalting the name of the Heavenly Father. Call Allah Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushua for what he is doing. Because we see he's making good on his word. That his word does not come unto him void, meaning without effect. It shall accomplish that in which he pleases.
Got all my stuff in here. Gotta get some. I lift this up when I get hot.
I'm homeless by choice because I got tired of spending all my
I even
money
see
on
this.
rent,
We're going to
and I need
continue.
to save some money. If you're new here, I keep most of my stuff at this storage unit, but I also have an office where I have access to Wi-Fi, a refrigerator, and pretty much everything else I need 24/7. I have 2 jobs, and I also sleep at work, so that definitely helps. Keep in mind, the office and work are 2 different places. Now, I am really active in my comments, and I noticed that a lot of moms were saying if they didn't have kids, they would be doing the same thing. And I definitely understand. For years, I just felt like it had to be a better way. I did not want to work, go home, take care of the kids, barely sleep, and still have to pay all these bills. My kids are older, so it worked out to where I was finally able to put myself in a situation. So although I sleep at work, I rented this office because I just don't want to be in one spot all day. We have offices starting at $300, so it's nowhere near as much as I would be paying for rent. Whenever I do come here, I have 24-hour access. I can use the bathroom. We have a microwave, refrigerator, Wi-Fi, and everything else I need.
There you go. That's it. I didn't know about the woman part because I only watched about up to the part with the Jake. But hey, again, that's humbling, right? Like I was saying, ain't nobody want to go through that stuff, but you do what you have to do. But people don't realize that this is the Lord humbling them. You see? And all these things that people are feeling is the Lord humbling them. So just wanted to bring that out. Just was watching this, and I was like, wow, this is Luke 21 and 25, right? Where it says perplexity, right? People not knowing what to do, to be in doubt. People are doubting, how they're going to make a living here, how they're going to live here in America. So In ending it, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Rachak Wadash. Double honors again to the apostle and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and blessing to the hopeful elect. Shalom.